Hi everybody, this is Alice, Bejeweled Hedgehog again for part 2 of my UFOs. It was not supposed to be parts 1 and 2, but while I was making the video, my camera shifted into power save mode, and I just, clicked the spacebar key to get it to come back up again. Everything looked fine. I thought I was recording. I finished and I showed you all the rest of my unfinished objects. Then I went back to look at the video, and part of it was missing. So this is a two-parter, like my mini-series. I've just now made a mini-series. Okay, so what I showed you before I got cut off by the wonders of technology was this scarf, which I actually really do like, and I want to put back into the works in progress and have finished maybe by mid-February, end of February. Okay. Now I'm moving into the things that were a little more frustrating, and there's more of a reason why they were in the basket. So, of course, they're not neatly in the basket now. They're all scattered over the floor because they've already been shown. But I will dig through. This is not really that frustrating. This is just a hat that I made for my sister that turned out way too big. It was supposed to be a sun hat. And we thought about, doing something to it, putting a drawstring or something in it to make it fit. So this just needs fiddling with. It's not that big of a deal. I just didn't feel like fiddling. Okay. This is a doily hat I'm making for my sister, and again, this is not that big of a deal either. It's just that because it's black yarn, I have to either work at it in the daylight. Oh, it's actually sparkly. It's Vanna's Glamour, but you can't see the sparkles for some reason, and it's not blue, it's black. The problem with it is it's hard to see, especially because this is like a finer weight yarn. I think it's a sport weight. And working in black makes it a little more difficult to see. So it's like a daytime, weekend project. Or I have a lamp on a stand that I can set up, plug in, set it up over my shoulder, and it makes a very bright light on what I'm working on. But it's just a pain to get it. So I can work on this. My sister would like to have it done, so I will. And I also saw Ron Strong had that cute little coal miner headlamp thing. And maybe I'll try something like that. I don't really know. But this should really go back into circulation so I can just get it out of the way. It's quick and simple. Okay, here. This pretty yarn is attached to an unstuffed amigurumi limb of a bear. And this is amigurumi I was just playing around with without a pattern. It's going to be a stuffed teddy bear for one of my nieces. Wait, this little marker indicates the top of the head. And I just kind of, soft sculpted a muzzle. The nose is coming out like that. The eyes will go here and here. And here is the body. I kind of gave it a little protruding belly. The head's going to fit down like that. But what got me frustrated and what ended this poor little bear in the basket was I thought I used a hook size that would be small enough to create a gauge where, of course, you wouldn't see the stuffing. But in order to shape it like this, the stuffing pulled on, and it's become a mesh bear rather than a warm brown bear. So that frustrated me, and I kind of tossed her in the basket. But the more I look at it, with features on her and all her little embellishments, she's going to have a charm anyway. I mean, not every loved stuffed animal comes out perfectly. So I'm going to give her a shot at life regardless. The wool I'm using, I believe, is Peyton's wool. And it's a beautiful color. It's very heathered. It's called Cognac. And the webcam is not doing it justice, but it is beautiful. And there is a finished little leg around here somewhere in this pile, but I can't find it. And here is her scarf. She's going to have a scarf. It's pretty and it's lacy. And the reason why I started making this scarf before I'd even finished the bear is because I got the idea, ooh, I think I'll make accessories, a little flower, a little scarf, maybe a little tiny bracelet. And so I'd never used crochet thread before, so of course with my little attention span issues, I had to just run out, get some crochet thread. This is actually a very nice salmon pink color that goes beautifully with the cognac, even though because of the webcam you can't see the colors really well. So I had a lot of fun making this little lace scarf that will go on the bear, and the bear is back in circulation. Maybe not for February, but definitely for March. Okay, and now we're hitting the pieces where were real issues. Okay, let's gather up this yarn and this scarf right here. Okay, this yarn, it's a beautiful yarn. I really enjoy using it. It's smooth and wonderful, and I got it at a great, great price at yarn.com. It's called Venezia. It's a merino silk, Cascade Yarns. Ha! Right there on Target, you can see it. Anyway, it looks more like a bluish purple on the camera, but it's really a very warm, rich red purple. And here is the scarf / wrap so far. And it came out very pretty. The issues with this are the pattern. I don't like the pattern. I mean, it's a beautiful pattern, but it's not an easy pattern to use. Here's the picture. And it came from a Crochet Accessories magazine. And normally, I mean, they have really good stuff, but my big issue with this is that the yarn they used was discontinued. It was impossible for me to find it. And it was a recent issue. It wasn't like I pulled something out of, the back of my bookshelf from a decade ago. So I tried to, when I bought the new yarn, to use the same yardage that I got from this yarn, but I don't think I bought quite enough. So now at this point, with dye lots, and I'm not even sure they carry it because a lot of their sales are, if not discontinued yarn types, discontinued yarn colors when you get it, for this much off. So anyway, that was issue number 1, the yarn choice. And then issue number 2 is a lot of things that look really complex and intricate and beautiful are actually very simple, because once you get going, like the Catherine wheel stitch, that's a gorgeous stitch, or all these wonderful lacy shell stitches. But once you do a couple of rows or rounds, you can kind of get the visual rhythm. So you're not, they're counting 1, 2, 3, chain 7, and then checking back at your directions and checking back, and that drives me nuts. Anyway, because of the way this is, and it's worked sideways like this, it's really hard to get that kind of visual rhythm. So literally, this is, you have to consult. I use a pen, a marker to keep my place. I guess it might be like doing intarsia or something, but it requires full concentration. I have to read the instruction, do the crocheting, read the instruction, do the crocheting. This is not social crocheting. You can't do it while you visit with anybody. Certainly you can't watch anything. I can't even listen to an audiobook. I mean, I come up out of doing some of this and I realize I don't know what's going on with the audiobook. So I just kind of got sick of doing it. But I love the pattern, and I think the finished object is going to be beautiful. So I have decided to give this 1 hour a week, maybe more if I'm in the mood. I'll just put on some music that I really, really like and sit down and just enjoy it. So that is that. Now this next object is, in my opinion, kind of unsalvageable. And the reason why is that I hate the yarn. It's not just a matter of unraveling it, starting from scratch. Like if you hate the pattern, if you hate the yarn, just about the only thing you can do is use it to stuff a stuffed animal. But it's, it's a beautiful color. And what this basically is I already have made some of the pieces. It's a sweater for my youngest niece. And let me see if I can find the pattern down here in all this mess. Maybe this is it. See, I've already shown these once on the video that didn't record, so that's why everything's hard to find. Now this shows like a toddler, and it's actually being made for someone who is 10, because if you make it in the largest size, it would fit a 10-year-old. And I have two. The weight of my yarn matches the weight of the pattern that calls for Lion Brand organic cotton. They also did it for a glamour yarn, which is a much lighter weight yarn. The stitch, the number of stitches and everything is different, but in the pattern they included charts, pattern pieces, and measurements. And the measurements are the same regardless of what yarn weight you're using, so I printed out both patterns. Okay, the issue with the yarn is it is the splittiest yarn I have ever seen in my entire life. Imagine right now going to your sewing basket and getting thread, like you put through your sewing machine or you used to sew a button on with, and grabbing a handful of it and just putting all the little strands together and holding them and crocheting. And I mean, I'm not even a super fast crocheter, but this stuff, it's like 3 stitches forward, 2 stitches back to get it to, because it keeps fraying and splitting and it drives me nuts. And let me show you my favorite hooks for splitty yarn. And these make yarns that people consider splitty. Some people consider simply soft splitty, but these can handle it. These are the Lion Brand plastic hooks. They come in little pastel colors. I don't know what the technical term for the little hooked over part is. Nose? I mean, it looks like a nose, doesn't it? Anyway, these have smooth, blunt little noses, and they're very good at not snagging on splitty yarn. So I consider this particular brand of hook my big guns. I can master any splitty yarn out there as long as I have one of these. I like the metal hooks, because they have pointed little noses and they will grab, especially if you're using double-stranded yarn. But anyway, I'm getting off the subject and spending too much time. Essentially, I cannot manage to work with this. It drives me nuts. It's taken hours, to do a row because it just keeps splitting. So here's what I kind of decided. I know myself, and I know that I will not go back to this. As long as I have any yarn in my stash, 2 pennies to take to the craft store and buy more yarn, I'm not going to touch this. It's going to sit in my basket. Probably when I die, my nieces are going to find it and try and, sell it on eBay or something. So that being said, I am just going to give it away. I'm going to give away all the yarn I have for this project, the pieces of the project in case anyone wants to make it, and the pattern bits I've printed out. I've marked them up with notes that will probably be inconceivable to other people, but at least you'll see what the name of the pattern is and you can easily download fresh copies if you want to use it. I would recommend you go onto Ravelry first and look at Cascade Yarns Cotton Club. Cascade Yarns Cotton Club. And again, this might, read the comments that go with the type of yarn, see what everybody thinks about it. I don't think I've commented on it yet because, I really didn't have anything even remotely nice to say. It might be someone else's favorite yarn. I mean, it's probably just a combination of the way you crochet, what kind of hooks you use, whatever, but this is not an Alice yarn. It's driving me nuts. So this is not like a fun contest, yay, yarn party, giveaway. This is basically a UFO that can potentially have a second chance at something if it gets to the right person. So really, if you're interested, just comment, I guess. Yeah, I'll give it a try, or, you want it. And the first person to comment on it, more or less gets it. It's not really a contest. It's just I'm not going to use it. I really hope someone can. Okay, so much for that. That finishes up the basket, and you would think that you would be done with me for tonight, but you're not, because there's a bag. Okay, there's a bag. Ooh, big bag. Big bag. This bag holds sweater pieces. And now this is sad. This is the world's most comfortable, easy crochet sweater. And yet there are bits and pieces of them here. This one is for my niece. It's 100% cotton. It's the mill ends again, but I strongly suspect that they're Lily Sugar and Cream. Or maybe Burnett Handicrafter. But anyway, very easy to make. So easy that I really want to do a tutorial because a beginning level can do this. It's just that it requires a minimal amount of sewing. So that is where the drawback is. The pretty green on the bottom is my sweater in pieces. And basically it's very simple. It's just that something that baffles me about myself is that even though I love all sorts of fun things to do with fiber. I love crocheting, I love knitting, although I don't do it that much, embroidery, needlepoint. But when it comes to hand sewing, I have put brooches on blouses because I hate to sew on buttons. I don't know what it is about hand sewing. I think if given the choice, this is why I don't really make character hats. If given the choice between sewing something on or weaving in ends, I'd really rather even weave in ends. It's, a mystery to me. But anyway, I'm going to set a goal for myself to do a tutorial on those easy, comfortable sweaters. I mean, they're shapeless, they're wear around the house sweaters, but everybody can use something like that. And hopefully this decision will give me the little push it needs to sew the pieces that I have together. Okay, that's the basket and the big bag, and there is one little basket left. And this has to go back into circulation for February because pretty soon it'll be too cold to wear slippers. I made a bunch of slippers for gifts this year. And this is one sort of finished so far. The slipper part is finished for my brother-in-law. And this, in case you can't tell, is a red-lipped mouth with big teeth. And the whole concept behind this slipper, where I use scraps of yarn, and I tried to pick colors that you might think of as being sort of lizardy, snaky, monstery. And there is some fun fur mixed in there, which I just don't like. But, I mean, I like the look of it. It's a pain to use it, though. The whole concept of this is that it is a foot monster slipper that is going to eat you up, starting with your feet and legs, unless you stomp it to death. So anyway, this is one of the eyeballs. I can't find the other at the moment. But basically, where's my camera? My arm is not a foot, but, there's going to be two bulby eyes on the top looking up at him. I have made some little tiny fiery red nostrils, and essentially it's going to be trying to eat his leg with its big, sharp, curly crochet teeth. So that has to get done, and that has to get done soon so that he can wear it before, it's like 90 degrees and nobody wants to wear slippers. So anyway, that's enough of me for one night. Again, I want to do shout-outs for everybody, Beth and Juanita, who are just ripping through their UFOs. And I hope to make a dent in some of these projects, too. Anyway, let me know if you want my unfinished project. And thank you very much for watching me. Okay, good night. Bye.